Hey everyone, this is Doc Dead Wayne from ShowX at vtwproductions.com again, doing another Skyrim video. And I'm doing it now because I wanted to show how the mods have changed a bit since they've gone to the Steam Workshop as the primary place to pick up all your different mods. So I have, in my original video, I was running 53 different mods through Skyrim Nexus. I still have a couple of those mods running, but I actually got to a point where I made the game unstable and unplayable and had to revert back to the original gameplay. Nice thing is I didn't lose any of my saved games, any of my progress, but it means the game looked ugly again. And so now with the update, patch, downloaded high-res textures from Steam, as well as a few, I think I'm running 27 mods through the workshop right now, as well as about 3 or 4 through the Nexus Mod Manager. But I wanted to highlight a few. First thing I'll show off here is that, and I haven't tweaked my INI quite how I should, because you can see shadows are still a bit blocky and ugly, so I need to go back in there and mess around with that to make those smoother. But one of the more recent ones I picked up was better dynamic snow, or the way the snow falls, as well as, and I forget the name, I don't believe it's HD snow, but it is a better looking snow mod, as well as a terrain bump, which goes through a good portion, if not all, of the bump maps within the game, and adds a bit more texture to them, a greater depth in the way the bump maps are presented. Makes it a lot prettier. I will say that the ice and snow in the game look much better. In fact, I will show the ice inside this cavern real quick. Since I just cleaned it out, I'm on my quest now to get all of the unknown stones, the Byzantine or whatever stones for the Thieves quest, and I installed a mod that is a bit of a cheat, but I was tired of randomly running into the stones here, there, or anywhere with no real expectation of when I would finish it. So with this mod, it adds quest markers for each of the different stones in the world. So here you can see in the ice caverns, I think looks really good. The bump mapping on the ground, as well as the extra texture in the cavern. Also, if you listen, you can hear some of that. One of the mods I've added deals with sound, and it gives both better sound, specifically in caverns like this, where whatever is populating the cavern will give you more ambient noise, more background noise. So in this case, there are, what are they, Druger and ghosts that inhabit it, so you hear the screams in the caverns. And I also added one for the outside, so you hear more nature sounds of animals, birds, crickets, things like that moving about. So I already cleared out this cavern, and honestly I've also modded the game where I'm playing it on its hardest setting, as well as with a natural, the wildlife mod, that makes it so there are multiple variety of wildlife now. You don't just get large frostbite spiders and small frostbite spiders, you get a wide variety of them. And things like elder, ancient, stuff like that, that will have much more hit points, they'll do more damage, sometimes more have more abilities. Alright, so now I'm going to, yeah, that's a fun glitch. I'm going to go find one of these other stones. So I think there's 30-something stones. So, yes, the Barenzia stones. I have 16 of the 24. And so thankfully with this add-on, I think I finished everything in the west. As you can see, it now has quest markers for each of the stones, so you can chase them down directly. Like I said, this is one of those that do however you choose. For me, like I said, I was just tired of, I'd see one here, one there, and I really had no hope of ever finishing that quest line. Kind of disappointed. One of the mods I need to go back and find again, just because my primary weapon is a glass axe, is the one that does see-through glass. I didn't realize how much I came to like that mod until I started wielding the axe without it, and now the glass doesn't look glass at all, which I think is unfortunate. Alright. again, some of the mods I have from the regular thing is a Scared of the Night mod for the sky. I cannot play this game without a beautiful night sky. I also have RCN's mod that does difference for how dark the game runs. It's basically it adds HDR, it darkens how dark black is in the game, so shadows, nighttime, caverns, things like that, makes it more realistic. Fun part is I can actually turn that mod off and you can see this is how it would look default, and it's middle of the night, and really it's not that dark, although it looks like the HDR effect is still there. You can see it kind of lighten and darken as I move. If I kick it back on, you can see how dark this actually makes the game. Like I said, I pull out my axe, and I can't see through the blade anymore. That's just silly for a glass weapon. Uh-oh, someone got mad. What are you? Conjure? Where are we going? So one of the fun things is I got tired of how I could own anything in the game. So this is now much more difficult. Actually, I will go back to that because leveling up will also allow my health to go up automatically. Bing. And I really should do... I won't deal with the rest yet. Running. Hey, these are very great. I need those. Another quest. Don't care about the rest. And before I go in here, like I said, I'm running the food mod again, which I believe I had to do outside of the workshop. But it's another one of those things that once you do it, it looks too pretty to not. And along with it, though, there's a good mod in there for changing the overall models of a lot of the items and adding more higher definition or more pixels and such to it. And so, or more polygons, that's the proper term. Adds more polygons, and I am a big fan of that. No, I do not need an ebony bow. Potions are always good, especially now that the game is more difficult and I get owned. The last cavern I was in, I died multiple times, and it had been a long time since that had happened to me. Ooh. What saw me? Yeah, Shadowmere, don't die. So now I'm inside the cavern home. I can point out again how much the After Effect lighting makes a difference and makes it much darker when you're in caverns. This is actually my third attempt to go through this dungeon because I keep dying as I have tried to make the game more difficult, and I have succeeded. And so mobs now are higher level and kill me much faster, so... where are you? Bugger. There you are. How did I walk past you? Fight this. Yay. Disarmed. Now the problem is I forgot again to enhance my axe to give me life back. So thankfully my summoned hero is tanking it for me. So one of the mods I did, I keep wanting to say it's the wilderness mod, but I don't think it is. It's one of the dungeons, I'm pretty sure, but gives me much higher level mobs everywhere. So balances the game. Oh. Balances it for me since it was no longer challenging. I can walk through everything from mobs in the game, through elder dragons and things like that, so I thought it was about time to make the game difficult again. And have succeeded and keep getting stomped, so. Now let me remember to recharge my axe. Since it helps keep me alive. Let's see, alright. I am trying to find these stones. Anyhow. So, while I'm in this cavern, since there are all these zombies basically around, I should hear them with that mod. I also finally was a good little thief and returned the skeleton key. Probably also need to go and get the high resolution spider webs again, because you can see how low res they are really when you get up close to them, which is unfortunate. For as much work as Blizzard did with their HD, Blizzard, wow, scratch that, Bethesda. Blizzard hasn't done a good thing in years. That Bethesda's done with the HD pack, I feel bad that they haven't grabbed everything and anything that people are out there making to make their game better looking. Oh, interesting. And it looks like there's fire. So I'll do a little of that. This. So much fun to fight all of these. Only problem is I'm going to get my butt kicked again. What else have I done? Let's see. The terrain bump. I did enhanced distance textures for outside. I did that's ice, better dynamic snow, better water. This guy DMP on the workshop took over for the the big water mod I was using from Nexus before. He got permission to take it over. He also added Kerplunk's watery rocks to make things like that look good, so as soon as I'm done, maybe I won't finish this whole thing. As soon as I'm done here, I will go looking outside during the day and find some more pretty textures again. It's going to be very similar to it was before, with all the different mods. It's just I've pared down, and I think gotten about the same effect with half as many mods being run. A lot of that comes from the HD pack from Bethesda. Having that it took away the need to add for most things. One of the things I do really want to show is the way that the realistic water and textures has changed and added what they've done with waterfalls, rivers, everything like that. It still has all the rivers and stuff in it, but what they've added, which is amazing to me, is he's completely rebuilt a lot of the waterfalls in the game so that they look significantly better. Look how dark it is. And if I wanted to now, because it is so dark, I could carry my own light sources and it would matter. What I really want out of here is that stone. I think what I will do instead, though, is I think I will save it here, load one of my earlier games that is outdoors somewhere during the sun, and hopefully we can see. Actually, that'd probably be a good one. That's about where I ended my last one. Yes. Because I want to show how pretty things are outdoors. Here we go. Back out to one of my favorite places to talk about mods anyways. Right outside of Whiterun. And this is fun because since this is pretty much one of your hubs in the game, this is where a lot of people concentrate on where they do mods. And by the way, for anyone who said, oh, it looked choppy before, part of that's the fraps and me trying to keep the size down by only running at 30 frames per second. The other part, really that's it. When I play the game on my own, it looks beautiful. So the water mod, this one is hard to see because it already had a lot of rocks in it. But he's gone through and split up a lot of the water coming off so it doesn't just look like one big rush of water. It actually breaks apart and falls more naturally as water would. You can see some of the bump mapping along the road. and an artifact. Go figure. It's Skyrim, so if you don't have some kind of error in the game, you're not playing the right game. It's kind of silly to say, but true. Also believe I went and reinstalled the water and fire sound mods, but that may not be the case. So already here, one of the things you should be able to see, I'm also running detailed cities and detailed outdoors. And the beautiful thing about that is they've added significant more foliage, trees, bushes, rocks, just all the different debris to some of the more populated areas, the cities and such. And unfortunately I can't turn that on and off to show, but it's one to definitely check out, where it just makes it where around the cities, I say where for the 100th time, around the cities you have more trees. It just looks more lived in, and you'll see that indoors as well, or in the city. That's where they first started, and the same person decided they could extend it outside. It's also nice because it takes a very small performance hit compared to many of the mods, mostly because they're using some of the same trees, rocks, and different objects from those areas already, so they're already loaded. They're just adding more and putting them in different parts of the city to make it look prettier. So here we are within Whiterun. You can see right away the additional trees make a significant difference.
Need something?
Another mod I need to go find again is the one for the high-res sky. While the sky in the game looks good anyways, although I see some banding in it, the HD clouds looked remarkable. I'm going to my breeze home because another mod here is the indoor lighting mod, as well as the, of all things, striping fix. For anyone who's played a lot in this one, you could see sometimes striping on the front of the cabinets, everything of shadows, where it'd be a lot of different lines across it, the shadow. Someone went in there and fixed the way the lighting is done to make it look accurate. Another one I'm running increases the number of dynamic shadows being produced in any area, so there's a lot more shadows. You can see kind of multiple light sources hitting shadows in different areas. And then along with the mod for how dark it is indoors, they've changed a few things. So like here, the person added light sources for cracks basically in the walls to make it look just like a lot more is happening. Thank goodness Lydia has finally gotten out of the bedroom for once. The more annoying aspects of your various followers. But here you can see it's just the city itself is more lush. There's plants everywhere, and it makes it feel like it's more lived in, more real. I've also got one that adds more people to the major cities, more random characters, so they feel more lived in. After playing the game for where I'm at, 100 hours in it, you get to a point where you know everybody in every city, the name of everybody. So it's kind of nice to actually have some additional people running around. Another one, changes for guards in the town. We'll actually try to balance so they're all wearing more specific armor for the cities they're in, as well as open face. So not everyone's wearing a helmet, which is very nice. So here's an example also of the waterfalls. And the water just, of course, looking pretty, just like it did in the last version. But this one taking a little more time to make it break apart across rocks. And it looks really good if you get to any of the really big waterfalls. Oh gosh. And then he took an arrow to the knee. Here again with the interior lighting. Not quite as dramatic in some of the big areas, but it's still very pretty. So, I'm not running, I don't think I'm running any of the mods for the people. I think Bethesda did a pretty decent job of upgrading the textures for people's faces, hairs, things like that.
Be a servant among lords, but don't think
I know a lot of the ones that have been done outside of with the mod community are still much better. I'm also not running the high resolution weapons or the high resolution armor because the HD pack pretty much takes care of that for you. And as you can see, it still runs very nicely. For those who thinks it stutter, I scoff at you. Anyhow, I will end this up. There's not much else to say about it, although if you have any feedback, feel free to put in the comments below. And let me know what you think, especially if there's anything you'd like me to cover in particular. This is just how I play the game. I really enjoy it. I think it's beautiful. Still probably the best looking game in existence today. So, but to each your own. Enjoy it. Do what you want with it. Mod the hell out of it.
I hope the Empire is sending reinforcements to drive these heathens out of...
Has the Empire forsaken us? How could Whiterun fall into the hands of these stinking half-wit Nords?